Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke with Reverend Yutaka Yamada. Today being Tuesday, the 18th of May, or the 7th day of April in the 9th year of Chonglaguk. So let's begin by offering a bow to our Heavenly Parent and true parents, Chariot. Kyombe. Haro. And let's offer our family pledge in Korean and English. Thank you.
가족맨세 8. 전위국 주인, 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 전위국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지산 천국과 천산 천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 8. Our family, the owner of Chonglaguk, pledges having entered the era of Chonglaguk to achieve the ideal of God and human beings united in love through absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and to perfect the realm of liberation and complete freedom in the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven by centering on true love. Thank you. Just wondering if Lay Tinaps would like to offer the opening prayer this morning. Are you there, Leighton? Nope, she was there. Yes.
Sorry, was that me?
Yes, please.
Sorry. My volume was a bit down, so I didn't hear it. Okay. Let us pray. Good morning, dear Heavenly Parent. Thank you for this new day, and thank you for this morning and this time that we can gather together as a family and as a community to offer morning devotion to you. This is our third 40-day offering of morning devotion for Oceania region. And our main subject of study is True Mother's autobiography, Mother of Peace. We have learned so many things along the way, and we have also connected in heart more deeply with you and with our brothers and sisters. We pray that you can continue to be with us and guide us. And we want to offer this time to you. We offer our hearts and our minds to you, Father, to, as you say, be still and know that you are God, and know that you are our Heavenly Parent, and that you're with us and you want to guide us and you have a message for us each day. We want to tap into that, Heavenly Parent, and we're really grateful for all the grace that you've given us, all the blessings that you've given us. And we each day want to strive to be better children to you, to be children of filial piety, and to give you joy and hope in all our activities. We offer this time to you in the names of Randall and Lady Naps. Bless Central Family. Arju.
Thank you. And let's give a warm welcome to Reverend Yutaka as he shares with us this morning.
Good morning, our brothers and sisters. Thank you for today to join our morning fundoke. And today is also a beautiful day. Every day is a beautiful day. We will really create together with our heavenly parents and true parents. Let's offer our first heart and mind to our heavenly parents and true parents. Today also, many great things is waiting for us. Let's create the beautiful, blessing, and hopeful day together. So yesterday, Australia side is also organized a UPF Ambassador Office gathering. So thank you for your initiation and gathering. So I hope each nation also organizing a many kind of event now, providential things, so we can pray together and support together also. So from yesterday, our Trumada's autobiography. From yesterday, we are sharing the part of our Danbury prison moment in the American Providence. So yesterday also many members, brothers and sisters, also share your testimony or your comment. That was really, really precious. Yesterday also Mr. Douglas shared about some news of cult and American situation, how general people receive the impact and also understanding. That's why for the general people, the influence of media is really big and strong. Even the contents is true or not. Once these contents will be spreaded, even normal general people start to believe that and have an image and also think that is correct or that is true. That's why the influence of media is really strong. So at the time, with 3 big rally of the Yankee Stadium, Washington Monument rally, and Madison Square Garden, this gave the strong impact, positive impact to the parents, gave the positive impact to 30,000, 50,000, or 300,000 people, and more than that. And through the speaking tour in America, how many of American people and the people of the world received the hope, and they started to think about God, hope of God, and hope for America, and they started to determine and stood for America and for the world. During that the important time period, atmosphere is very great, and all people are committed positively, and really they saw there is a hope with unification movement and with true parents. But at that moment, government and media started to seriously accuse and make a false environment and false contents, and these negative things is giving the negative impact to the people. So can you imagine if there is no that kind of the negative impact, or there is if no false news, fake news, then what's happened? All American people totally unite with their parents and stood up and show the vision and connect with God and connect with God's hope. How much good impact they could give, not only inside of America, also to the world. That's why really each moment, how much Satan's side, evil side, try to attack, try to stop the movement. So those negative impact, because world level, all nation is connected. That's why if there is negative impact, this is directly give the influence to the local providence or local movement in the society in other nation. Yesterday also there is sharing about England case, right? That's why in the world level, everything is connected, even negative things. But also we could see not only negative side, even positive side. Actually, this is connected to the world level. That's why if there is a positive things, we can learn and we can receive and we can give that influence to another country and another place in the world in a positive way. That's why in our Oceania region is also same. We are not just by one nation alone, one person by alone, one family by yourself. We are connected as a family beyond the city, beyond the states, and beyond the nation and even beyond the region, how we can give the good influence, good support, and good cooperation. This is our strong point, and this is our ideal. This is the way we should go. So our all nation together, all region together, even beyond the region, we can cooperate with America, we can cooperate with Korea, Japan, Asia, Europe, Africa, South Africa. This is our strong point. So how we can unite together, centering on our heavenly parents and true parents. So now is really great moment and grateful time. So once again, we can remind we are living the special moment, a hopeful moment. So let's create grateful day. Let's create the miracle, and let's create happiness and hope today, centering on our praise. So let's see our fundamental contents. The process of the tax evasion trial. You can see the father, really father is so young. So that time. Anyway, we compare when father was passed away, that time is 93 years old. So compare with that day, of course, looks like young. But when this Danbury prison matter was happened, how old was he? 1980, 1982, 1984. Looks like he's young, but how was he? Already 62, 64. I don't know, maybe Reverend John? Your age, similar age?
Yep, similar age.
So, yes, your age and this true father photo, this similar age. So even compare with 90 years old father, true father looks young, but 60, 62, 64 years old. Already some age and going to the prison. This is really not simple things. That's why really this Danbury imprisonment is a really big some trial and the big some kind of indemnity condition for all of people, all movement, and also the father went through those challenging and trial way from himself. So we could see that situation. Cleared of suspicion in investigation started in 1976 by the IRS, Internal Revenue Service. 1981, Department of Justice Tax Bureau investigation, insufficient reason for prosecution. So in the day year by year, they started and those things was happen. Indictment drawn up by a grand jury, trial in New York in October 15, 1981. April 1982, jury trial in New York Federal District Court. A trial by judges requested instead of a jury trial was rejected. So yesterday we saw this one. Even father requested the judge, but that was rejected. The jury trial was rejected. And May 12, 1982, widespread religious backlash movement started. The conviction of the true father was a threat to religious freedom. So that time, really, religious freedom was treated, affected. And protest rally by 60 religious denomination leaders in Washington against the decision. So that time father was accused and father was going this way under the judgment, but religious leader and the Christian denomination stood up against the decision of the court. So those things was happened. And May 1984 appeal dismissed by Supreme Court, and suffering in Danbury began. So this is the process, and this is the environment, the circumstances, until the father was decided to go to the Danbury imprisonment, and this is the starting point. And July 20, 1984, suffering in Danbury began. So this day, July 20, 1984. So this day, their father entered the started Danbury imprisonment. So we could see that American churches were paying close attention to our case. Holding church funds under the name of the pastor was common practice for them, and this became the basis of the accusation against my husband. The government was prosecuting someone for what was a general church practice, and if they could send my husband to jail for that, it could send anyone to jail. When Father Moon was pronounced guilty, they rose up. So the government was prosecuting someone for what was a general church practice, and if they could send my husband to jail for that, it could send anyone to jail. So this is the general church practice, not only our Unification Church, not only for the father who did something. This is the general church practice in America, and everyone followed that. But why? Father was guilty. If he could be the guilty, meaning is any kind of pastor, religious leader, might be guilty also. So this is actually the serious things, serious religious prejudice. That's why all Christian minister, all religious leader became serious. This is something going wrong in the American government, American society. So they stood up and they gathered together and they rose up and tell them and insist and showing their opinion, because if this is accepted already, the general people and also in the American level, no more freedom, no more religious freedom. So to fathers, this case is actually serious message in the society and in the nation of America. With one voice, the National Council of Churches, United Presbyterian Church in the United States, the American Baptist Churches in the United States, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the Unitarian Universality Association, and Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and National Conference of Black Mayors, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Catholic League of Religious and Civil Rights, the National Association of Evangelicals, and many other call the decision an obvious operation of religion. So each religious association totally gathered together beyond the denomination and beyond their group and religion. All American Christianity gather together. So can you imagine that? Actually, some of them maybe accuse the father and also attack father before, but when this situation was happened, father faced this situation, and all Christianity beyond the denomination, they gather and they rose up, centering on true parents. So you could see this photo really for they fight for the religious freedom. With them in our ranks, we founded the Coalition for Religious Freedom and Minority Alliance International, which organized rallies throughout the country to protest that verdict. Conscientious people of all denominations and political views recognized oppression when they saw it and demonstrated on behalf of liberty. So when they stood up, when they saw through Father's result of judgment and waste, when they stood up, that meaning is actually all pastor, all Christian leader have a ownership. This is wrong. This is wrong for society. This is wrong for America. They could have the ownership and righteous heart, and they could feel what is the right way, what is really God's will, God's wish, and God's hope. So they come together and they demonstrated on behalf of liberty. So still, America has hope. Even American Christianity ignore that kind of the result of court. What kind of future is waiting in America? But at least America, Christian leader and pastor and religious leader have this kind of conscious. That's why they could feel how much now America is facing the serious situation and going to the wrong way and showing the wrong decision. So they could stand, they could gather, and they did demonstrate it on behalf of the liberty. On the foundation of this bipartisan support, we submitted an appeal to the United States Supreme Court. To our great disappointment, in May 1984, the Supreme Court washed its hand of it, thereby affirming the sentence. My husband's response: it is the will of God. He was not concerned about going to prison. He had already turned the court's decision into the next step of God's plan to awaken America from spiritual death. He was incarcerated on July 20, 1984 at the Federal Correctional Institution in Danbury, Connecticut. So what is our responsibility and what is our duty? Even any kind of situation, we have to do our portion of responsibility 100%. That's why even judge and even court is giving those decisions, but until last minute, we have to submit appeal, prepare the all evidence, and fight in the court. And everything, whatever we can, we have to do. This is not only Father case. In our case also, same. In the any kind of circumstances or situation, we have a 5% responsibility. So we have to do everything, whatever we can. Then, how about after that? Even after doing all effort, all possibility, and everything, whatever we do, but some result come, then what kind of attitude we should have? We could say our Father's response. Father said, it is the will of God. So until last minute, every effort we will put and invest Johnson, and finally some result came, even good result, even bad result, sometimes regrettable situation is coming in our life. But what kind of attitude we should have? Then we offer our heart and accept everything. This is will of God. Surely there is will, there is meaning, something behind of that. So the Father accepted all things as the will of God. Then he started to make a new plan to save the America from the spiritual death. And he went to the Danbury prison. So really we could see and we could learn all even small attitude, how Father is showing us our right attitude. Our case, easy to be negative, easy to be complaining some situation. But how about Father? Even any kind of environment, embrace, trust, forgive, and love, and overcoming. There is God's will, there is God's hope, there is meaning, and there is a way to overcome more than current situation, more than current circumstances. So through Father God and through Mother, also totally unite with true Father and go this way. This whole affair was not about taxes. It was about the world's most powerful nation having a panic attack over the growth and influence of our government, our movement. It was a misuse of governmental and media power induced by fear and ignorance. But God always works in mysterious ways. The Christian community united with us as it never had before. So how is True Mother's expression? Interesting, right? Mother say, it was about the world's most powerful nation having a panic attack over the growth and influence of our movement because our unification movement was really strong. So even most powerful nation in the world, they fear and they panic our influence of our unification movement. So really, Mother also sharing and those kind of methods. So that much American government or nation was affected and they panic. And also that much our unification movement and through parents' message was critical message in the American society, American people's heart. And this is really the right way. So all people felt that. So even government misuse American government power and media power toward one individual person. And this is really not the right things. But because of this, all our Christian community started to gather. So really, those things really interesting. Even try to attack, try to kill, try to stop that person. But because of that, that person's influence, our movement become more strong. Many people come together and unite together because of that. So when we go to the right way, people surely could recognize and understand. Even that moment, nobody looks like nobody understand. But if we go to the right way, right message, and right things we do, people can gather and people can understand. So really, through True Parents Life Course is always like this. Even receive the persecution and misunderstanding, mistreated, but never change his will, his wish, and his way. Just go, centering on God's will. Major clerics were outraged that what could be characterized as an administrative mistake, if that could be punished by 18 months in prison. Thousands of clergy throughout the United States protested. Hundreds spent a week in Washington, D.C. in the Common Suffering Fellowship. They studied the principle and America's tradition of religious freedom, visited their congressional representative, demonstrated outside the White House, and proclaimed that when the government threw Father Moon in prison, it had thrown them in there as well. So this is the big movement. And many Christian clergy demonstrated appeal to the government why they could do because Father's attitude, his unchanging attitude, and stood up strongly even any kind of environment. That's why people could move, people could change. If Father received those kind of result and Father say, and Father lose the confidence, Father show negative things, and Father show some difficulty, who can stand together? But Father totally go away this way with unchanging heart, absolute standard. That's why people could come. That's why as a central figure, what kind of attitude we should have? Our all leaders and all blessed families, we are standing as a central figure. What kind of attitude we should have? In front of heaven, we should have an absolute object partner, but in front of society, the people, we should have the absolute subject position. In front of absolute subject, absolute object, absolute minus will appear. That's why really true parents show that way. So we have to stand absolute in front of heaven, we have to stand absolute object, and in front of the society, we have to stand as absolute subject. So this is really principle way, and true parents showing through the principle example. Beside supporting this domestic ecumenical activism, Unification Church members around the world prayed unceasingly, having no experience of the earlier year in Korea. They could not digest the reality that the Lord would be in prison. My husband and I comforted them. From now, a new world will begin. Father Moon counseled our members, our family, and me. Now, not only America, but all humanity will be with us, and the drumbeat of hope will sound throughout the world. So many member was really worried that in Korean member, they could see how many times their father went to the prison and went to mistreated from the government, and they overcame many times. And but America and world members, this is really the first time, and actually this is a serious moment. That's why people were worried. But my husband and I, to father and to mother, comfort, encourage, and show the vision more. From now, a new world will begin. So really father and mother is really great. All the moment they made it from difficult situation to the hope. Now is the starting time. So true parents is leading the all providence even in the life and death situation, because they have a clear goal and vision and hope. We have to liberate God. We have to liberate this world. We have to liberate all human beings. That's why true parents only seeing this hope. That's why those confidence, those attitudes will give the hope and also confidence to each of us. So we could see how many times true parents face those kind of a serious environment and turned from serious situation to the hope. So through true parents' attitude and life, we could reflect ourselves. How about our reflect? How about our attitude toward heaven, toward heavenly providence, toward our environment? And when we face similar situation, what kind of decision, what kind of attitude do we have? So through asking, through reflecting, and through thinking to ourselves, we could connect our heart to our heavenly parents and true parents. So today also we are sharing about the Danbury prison, the environment, and how about America situation, and how about our members situation inside of America and outside of America, and how they overcame, and how true parents show us their attitude, their heart. So today also we will start a new day. Please also connect and pray and find a way what is really Heavenly Parents' message. What was the really true parents' message to showing us? And we will prepare our heart, offer our heart, and create the new blessing, a new hope day today. So once again, thank you for everyone to join this morning Fundoke. Let's have a great time. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Reverend Yutaka. As always, really a lot of inspiration and guidance you are showing to us. I was very impressed and moved. Maybe some people noticed, maybe others might not have noticed, but I'm just sharing this part. I was touched by these words. I am honoured that I could serve time in Danbury to protect religious freedom. Sincerely in Christ, Some Young Moon. That picture and the words right next to Father, as you were speaking, Reverend Yutaka, really inspired and touched me. Especially the opening statement, "I am honoured," and just thinking, that Father is returning so much gratitude and glory back to God that he could be given this opportunity to really help the Christianity to take its position, that it should defend what is moral and right and correct, and that I am honoured that I could serve time in Danbury to protect religious freedom, because the religious community at the time of Jesus were the ones that basically shouted for Barabbas to be freed and destined Christ to truly be nailed on the cross. And of course he went willingly and made that ultimate sacrifice to save us in spite of ourselves. But his Father saying, here's this opportunity. It was the religious community in the end of World War II that turned against Father and sent him to the Pyongyang and suffered almost 3 years. And then Mother saying that the West, the general, the new membership, didn't understand or appreciate how much of a sacrifice Father was doing in prison. And here he went, Father is saying, I'm honoured to be able to have this opportunity to show to the world that that standing up for what is right is the only way to go forward. And then this to me is like an absolute example of righteous indignation. A lot of times people think that is shouting, but here it's taking the position of, I will endure this because this is the way that freedom can be proclaimed around the world. And the movement did form around Father, and the religious community did gather together, even though they were persecuting us earlier and were strongly saying your Father's a heretic and the Antichrist. But here they're actually saying, we support him, because if we don't band together, then religion itself will be eliminated out of the American mindset, out of the American government, and it was founded on religious freedom. So, just that word, I'm honoured that I could serve time in Danbury to protect religious freedom. It was really, I find that amazing, and the depth of Father's heart, the depth of love for our Heavenly Parent, the depth of love for the Christian community, and the depth of love for Jesus as well, saying, here's an opportunity. Here I'm restoring the fact that you were sent to the cross. Here I'm taking on that pain, and look, the religious community have finally banded together and to restore what was done before. So I was quite touched and moved by that statement, and that's why I shared it. Okay, thank you. So yeah, really, this is a great opportunity for us to really stand up and be honoured to be in this position as heavenly tribal messiahs, to be able to share with the community around us that our Heavenly Parents is a living God and loves us. So thank you, and I'll open it up to others who would like to share. Yes, Tsunika, go ahead.
At that time, 1984, I was also prison, and that's the fundraising time. I think Japanese sister was prison. That was quite a lot of imprisonment because of just a little bit overstaying and they deported. That's why I just at that time, I thought, now I thought, father was smiled and willing to go to prison. But I thought I was come for America. Why the imprisonment? That's I thought. But now I know father's attitude too. That's why that you have to do righteous to, even though wrongly, not wrongly, but overstays, not wrongly, but anyway, to show the way to religious people what kind of attitude to even the imprisonment or it's not much persecution, just, but many overstay people was imprisonment, some of about 6 months or something. But I was lucky to just court case helping some New Yorker, some lawyer helping us. That's why so quickly come out from prison. But so many, that's a trigger to protect prior to father going to prison. Many kind of, little foundation to laid. That's kind of trigger to, that's I thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Janine, go ahead.
I thought it was really amazing that we didn't understand at the time, but that Father understood that he was creating an incredible foundation that even now is bearing fruit. The incredible movement of the religious people, the clergy. That's really the foundation for that Father was making at the time. It's like, he lit a fire, and amazing that what he said was true. That it developed into an amazing thing that's now going to around the world. Like here in Australia, we want to start that in Korea. So yeah, Father understood. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Tony, go ahead.
I just want to talk about an experience that we all had in Germany in 1984 when True Father went to prison. It's probably the same around, I don't know if this happened in other countries, but we were asked to indemnify what was going on, so that instead of like running away, when Jesus was in trouble, the disciples ran away. So we had to, as a condition, go to 3 Christian churches, and we had to go to the leader with a set phrase saying, "I have been sent by Reverend Samyeon Moon to ask you if you would like us to help your church." And we were asked 3 times to go to 3 different churches. And the first time they were kind of curious. And then the second time, I can't, to be honest, I can't remember everything, but I remember going to a big Catholic church in this German town, and I felt like a little fly being flicked off the table. But anyway, we still had to do it. We had to keep going back and saying, "I have been sent by Reverend Samyeon Moon to ask you if you would like our help." But I just wanted to talk about this condition. I don't know if anybody else had to do something similar. Thank you.
Thank you. Next was Mr. Arai, then after that, Jacinta Moreau. Okay.
Good morning. I think I was just to, reflect. Father in US is almost Jesus appeared in the Israel. People must say yes or no, and but not so easy to say yes. So the father went to US. It is one of our, I think, biggest impact. I think because US is many Christian people had a dream, and but under the understanding of Bible and Jesus, they paid incredible effort to create that their culture and the nation. Then for it suddenly appear Messiah from East, and it is very difficult to accept. That is one of our struggle. Very difficult to say yes, and like impact of Messiah, return Lord. I think many people wish Jesus, come back from a cloud, or where, incredible reading, I think. But to come from East, they can accept or not. And that is one of the biggest challenge. And but under the situation, and quite many, I think, people joined. I think God choose nation, God choose people, and that's why I really thought if we have this kind of heart, I think someone here in even Australia, God prepare people who can meet. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Go ahead, Jacinta.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, Janine was saying that it was quite amazing that True Father had the, the insight to be really offering his situation for the future, and that, to awaken the spirit of America. I see some parallels between how Father just got up and went over to the prosecutor and shook his hand, or wanted to shake his hand, and just really forgave him on the spot with, beaming smile and everything, and what he did also in Pyongyang at the time when he was convicted to go to Hungnam. He held his arms up, with the chain and everything. And yeah, what I see is that Father has also a vision for in the future, like that person, that prosecutor, in the future when, everyone understands the value of true parents, him, if he's still alive, and his lineage will be so mortified. So it's like Father's given his forgiveness in advance, Well, if Father forgave me, then anyone can forgive me, sort of thing. So basically, I see that Father is always thinking about collective sin. And why I say that is that in 2014, I was in Korea at the time. There was one of these Vision 2020 rallies at the Peace World Center. And Dan Burton, one of the congressional leaders who we've come to know recently, he actually stood up and he apologized for America having put Father in prison. And that really moved me. I was moved to tears at that point, and I really felt like, he was apologizing on behalf of all of us, like, that Father had this a way to forgive our collective sin.
Exciting. We got to see the Lord.
Look, and just another thing, if we've got time, I'd like to share about the impact of what happened in Danbury and the cult awareness network and everything that was set up at that time. I went through a deprogramming experience in 1991, so this is 7 years later. And I actually had 3 people from the States, one ex-unificationist from England, and a couple of Australians. During that experience, I was actually at my parents' home, and then they kidnapped me and took me somewhere else. But before I left my parents' home, I wanted to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom. My mother came right behind me and put a foot in the door, stopping me from closing the door because she really thought I was going to have a suicide pill or something and take that. So that's, you know, what Doug was saying yesterday. People really were misinformed by the media. And then at my deprogramming, actually the Australian leader of the Cult Awareness Network came for some time and was present. And then later in New South Wales, where I was in Sydney, came back to Sydney. I don't know if Reverend Stone remembers this, but there was a bill that was going to be passed through the Parliament about cults and things like this. And we had a contact at the Church of Scientology at the time. His name was Henry Bartnick. And he actually encouraged me to write a letter to the Parliament about my situation, which I did. And I had also written a statutory declaration prior to that time, which mentioned that this Cult Awareness Network woman had been at my deprogramming. And she was the one who had moved the legislators in the New South Wales Parliament to actually put forward this bill. So I found out many years later from my mother, because she had kept friends with this lady, that because of what I did, this lady got in a lot of trouble. I don't know what happened to her. And also that bill fell flat. It didn't pass the New South Wales Parliament. So I was happy in that sense that I was able to contribute a little bit to religious freedom in Australia. And the last thing I'd like to say is that after I came back from deprogramming, came to my parents' house, the ex-unificationist from the UK was actually staying in our house. And I managed to make contact with the centre in Sydney. And so actually a policeman came to our door and said, oh, there's somebody here who's kidnapped you and whatever. And because of Father's example, I didn't want to say to the police that this person was actually in our house and she had deprogrammed or was part of the deprogramming. So I said, oh no, this is just a friend of the family. I didn't want to have my parents, have trouble with the police. So this was because of, the example that your father had given us. So I wanted to share that. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Jacinta. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Actually, that's something for us to pray about and be grateful about. It's actually time for us to share together in unison prayer. So I'll just share our screen. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a great day. And
Well, have a good day.
bye.
Hi, Rex.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
A great day. God bless.
Hi, Anne.
Bye.